2017 was a pretty impressive year for England's men's youth teams. The Under-17s lost a Euros final against Spain on penalties before exacting their revenge with a 5-2 win against Spain in the final of the Under-17 World Cup. And in the space of just 2 days, a combined England youth team won the Toulon tournament on July 10th, before the Under-20s went one better and lifted the Under-20 World Cup in South Korea on July 11th. Now, it has been a fair old while since I've made a Where Are They Now video, which used to be a staple of this channel. And the Where Are They Now video that I'm most frequently asked to make is one taking a look at England's Under-17 World Cup winning team. That squad contained the likes of Phil Foden, Callum Hudson-Odoi and, initially at least, before he was recalled by Borussia Dortmund, Jadon Sancho. But loads of people have made videos or have written articles taking a look back at that squad, whilst England's World Cup winning Under-20 team from the same summer appeared to be somewhat inexplicably overlooked. What's more, whilst England's Under-17 World Cup winners are mostly still only 21 years old now, the Under-20 world champions are all pretty much aged 24, meaning that, in theory, they should all be getting regular first-team football and getting ready to approach their best years within the game. We'll see how that theory holds up as we go along. Without further ado then, because he's American and was already in his late 20s by 2017, here is England's 2017 Under-20 World Cup winning team. Where are they now? Freddie Woodman, Bournemouth. The man between the sticks for England at the 2017 Under-20 World Cup, where he conceded just 3 goals in 7 games, was Freddie Woodman, which may come as a surprise when you discover who was his deputy at that year's finals in South Korea. Woodman was a vastly experienced youth team international, having already won the Under-17 Euros with England in 2014, and having first represented the Under-21s in 2016, a year before dropping back into the Under-20s for the World Cup. In total, Woodman played 56 times for England between Under-16 and Under-21 level, and unsurprisingly, given his record at the tournament, he won the 2017 Under-20 World Cup Golden Glove Award. At club level, Woodman, who was born in Croydon, has been contracted to Newcastle United since 2013, though he has only ever made 9 appearances in the Magpies first team. Now in his 7th loan move away from St James's Park, Woodman joined Bournemouth on loan from Newcastle just a couple of weeks ago, where he will challenge Mark Travers for the number 1 shirt for the remainder of this season. John Joe Kenny, Everton. Another seasoned England youth team international by the summer of 2017, John Joe Kenny was also part of that Under-17 Euros winning England team in the summer of 2014, where he actually converted the winning penalty in the final against the Netherlands and also made the team of the tournament. An industrious and energetic right-back who isn't afraid to get stuck into a challenge, Kenny was born in Liverpool and he has been with Everton since the age of 9. He has made 58 appearances for the Toffees since making his debut at the end of the 2015-16 season, but the majority of those appearances came in the 2017-18 and 2018-19 campaigns. The fullback enjoyed an impressive season on loan at Schalke in the 2019-20 season, where he played regular top-flight football for the first time. But, if anything, his loan move to Celtic the following term seemed to be a step in the wrong direction. So far this season, Kenny has played 550 minutes of football for Everton, but for a 24-year-old who achieved so much at youth team level, he has admitted to feeling frustrated by his lack of first-team opportunities. Fikayo Tomori, AC Milan. One of the outstanding players from England's Under-20 World Cup winning team, Fikayo Tomori wasn't prepared to just sit around and wait for game time to come to him after getting his hands on the biggest trophy in international youth team football. Tomori was born in Canada to Nigerian parents, but his family relocated to London before Tomori had even turned 1 year old. Despite playing 3 games for Canada at under-20 level, Tomori soon switched his international allegiances over to England, becoming a regular from under-19 level onwards. A gifted and athletic defender, who is first and foremost a centre-back but can also cover at full-back, Tomori joined the biggest club in all of world football on loan following his success with England. Tomori was in and out of the Hull City team in truth that season, and whilst I personally rated him, others were less convinced. The following season, a year older and presumably a year wiser, Tomori won the Player of the Year award under Frank Lampard on loan at Derby County. When it became apparent that his opportunities would still be limited at Stamford Bridge, Tomori joined AC Milan, firstly on loan and then on a permanent deal for £25 million. Capped twice by England's senior team now, Tomori is flying at this moment in time, and there is even talk of Chelsea trying to bring him back to the club. Jake Clarke-Salter, Coventry City. It was an all-Chelsea centre-back pairing for England at the 2017 Under-20 World Cup, as Jake Clarke-Salter lined up alongside Fikayo Tomori. At the time, there was little to split the two, with Clarke-Salter also having been a starman for Chelsea's youth and reserve teams. Whilst I still think Clarke-Salter can and most likely will become a Premier League centre-back, it is hard to see him reaching the heights that Tomori has already set. Currently on loan at Championship playoff hopefuls Coventry City, Chelsea remain Clarke-Salter's parent club, and this is his fourth separate second-tier loan move, in addition to spells on loan in League One and in the Eredivisie. Kyle Walker-Peters, Southampton. Kyle Walker-Peters is primarily a right-back, but it was at left-back that he lined up for England at the 2017 Under-20 World Cup. At the time, Walker-Peters was yet to even make his first team debut at club level, though he had previously been a part of England's Under-19 and Under-20 setups. A fantastic athlete with a real drive and willingness to improve, I always thought that Tottenham could do a lot worse than rotate him and Kieran Trippier following the sale of Kyle Walker. But instead, they sold both of them and signed Serge Aurier, who was a bit of a car crash in truth. Walker-Peters signed for Southampton in the summer of 2020 for £12 million following a loan spell at the club, and he now finds himself back at left-back due to the outstanding Tino Livramento having made the right-back spot his own at St Mary's. Lewis Cook, Bournemouth. The second current Bournemouth player in England's Venezuela conquering 2017 Under-20 World Cup final starting 11, Lewis Cook was among the most highly rated youngsters in that team. Having come through the youth ranks at Leeds United, Cook had played the best part of 100 games at Ellen Road by the time that he turned 19, which was when he signed for AFC Bournemouth. A real class act, Cook always looked elegant and composed on the ball, combined with having a terrific work rate and range of passing. While some players in that England squad had never even played a second of men's first-team football, Cook had already played 85 games for Leeds and had a season of Premier League football on the South Coast under his belt. Sadly, since that success, the 25-year-old has twice ruptured his cruciate ligaments, two potentially career-ending setbacks which have unsurprisingly knocked him for 6. He is still out injured with the second of those cruciate ligament injuries, which he suffered in March of 2021, currently watching on as his team continue in search of an immediate return to the Premier League this season. Josh Onomah, Fulham. Another midfielder in search of Championship promotion this season, you suspect that Josh Onomah will get it in a Fulham team that has the strongest squad, the biggest budget, and the most points in the second tier of English football at the time of this recording. Onomah was being tipped for stardom before he had even sat his GCSEs, catching the eye as early as the age of 15 due to his speed and ability on the ball. He had already played 32 times in the Tottenham first team when the Under-20 World Cup arrived, though he would never play for them again. After the tournament, Onomah first joined Aston Villa on loan before spending a season on loan at Sheffield Wednesday that was blighted by knee injuries. In the summer of 2019, Onomah joined Fulham in a swap deal involving Ryan Sessegnon plus £25 million in cash, paid by Tottenham to Fulham. I know Onomah was still very highly thought of in North London, which reflects their determination to sign Sessegnon at the time. The 24-year-old, Onomah that is, has since played 54 times for Fulham, and he scored a delightful solo goal against Cardiff City in the 2020 Championship playoff semi-final first leg. Kieran Dowell, Norwich City. Kieran Dowell is a man who has scored 23 goals in 123 games at club level, and 11.5% of those goals came in a single game against my team Hull City. I know, right? Typical. Dowell bagged that hat-trick, which remains the only hat-trick of his career to date, during the 2017-18 season, whilst on loan at Nottingham Forest. I must say, he did look very impressive in that game, and I have been a little bit surprised not to see him really kick on since then. An Everton player from the age of 7, Dowell left the Toffees for the first time on a permanent basis in 2020, when he signed for Norwich City. Gifted, versatile, but sometimes just a little lacking in cutting edge in the final third, except when he plays us obviously, Dowell helped the Canaries to promotion last season, but he has played less than 500 minutes of football in all competitions since then. Dominic Solanke, Bournemouth. Making it a trio of current Bournemouth players in this 11, Dominic Solanke is one of the most impressive youth team players in English football during my lifetime. Solanke inspired Chelsea to 2 FA Youth Cups and a UEFA Youth Cup as the club's top scorer, winning Chelsea's Academy Player of the Year award in 2015 after having won England's Youth Player of the Year award in 2014. The Under-20 World Cup was perhaps his crowning achievement though, winning the Golden Ball and leading England's scoring charts as a second striker. At the time, Solanke looked to have it all: athleticism, ability, and clinicism in front of goal. He joined Liverpool on a free transfer that summer, where he scored 1 goal in 27 games before joining Bournemouth for £19 million. It took Solanke a gargantuan 39 games to score his first goal for the Cherries, but he has struck 19 times in only 26 games this season, enjoying a terrific campaign. Just as I predicted, some of you may recall. Just thought I'd get that in there. And I would expect to see him back in the Premier League sooner rather than later. Ademola Lookman, Leicester City. Playing on the left flank in the 2017 Under-20 World Cup final ahead of Walker-Peters, Ademola Lookman was a real live wire for England at the tournament, scoring 3 goals. Happiest cutting inside off that left flank onto his stronger right foot, Lookman has always possessed great control over the ball, even when running at speed. A graduate of the Charlton Athletic youth ranks, Lookman joined Everton 6 months before that tournament, but he could never really establish himself at Goodison Park. In 2019, Lookman joined RB Leipzig, where he also struggled, before going on loan to Fulham. His performances at Craven Cottage earned him another Premier League loan move this season to Leicester City, where he has scored 5 goals in 21 games this season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Everton. Rivaling Fikayo Tomori for the crown of most impressive post-2017 Under-20 World Cup career in this 11, Dominic Calvert-Lewin led the line that evening for England, and his inclusion means that Everton joined Bournemouth in terms of having more than one player in this side. One of 6 players from England's Under-20 World Cup winning squad to have since won a senior cap for the Three Lions, Calvert-Lewin has been capped more times than anyone else from that squad, having made 11 appearances and scored 4 goals for Gareth Southgate to date. Calvert-Lewin was a star man for England at both Under-20 and Under-21 level, and it was actually him who scored England's winning goal, and indeed their only goal, in the 35th minute against Venezuela. But stardom at club level took a little longer to arrive. Despite his many talents, Calvert-Lewin had never really seemed quite prolific enough for Everton to hang their hat on him as their main centre-forward. Until last season, that is, when he scored a whopping 21 goals. One of the best attacking headers of a ball in the division, Calvert-Lewin is clever, strong, and willing to put in the hard yards. Sadly, he has missed most of this season with a fractured toe, only recently having returned to first-team duty, and he has been sorely missed during that time at Goodison Park. That was England's starting 11 in the 2017 Under-20 World Cup final, but now we come to the rest of that squad, starting with the 2 players who were introduced as substitutes. Liverpool's starlet Shearer came on in place of Kieran Dowell in the 62nd minute, and he is still contracted to Liverpool, though he is currently on loan at Millwall. Arsenal utility man Ainsley Maitland-Niles was the other England substitute to enter the fray, coming on in place of goalscorer Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the 76th minute, as manager Paul Simpson looked to see out the win. In terms of the rest of the England squad, Callum Connolly now plays for Blackpool, Adam Armstrong is starring for Southampton, Ezri Konsa has become a key man at Aston Villa, Dean Henderson saw his stock rise significantly on loan at Sheffield United and now gets semi-regular game time at Manchester United, Dale Fry still plays for Middlesbrough, Harrison Chapman recently rejoined Burton Albion on loan from Blackburn Rovers, and both midfielder Ovie Ejaria and goalkeeper Luke Southwood play for Reading. It should be noted that attacking left-back Rico Henry was initially part of England's squad for that tournament, having already played 3 seasons of first-team football at Walsall and Brentford, but he had to withdraw through injury and was replaced by Ezri Konsa. Henry still plays for Brentford, with whom he won promotion last season, and he has made 22 appearances for the West Londoners so far this term. Of course, with the Toulon tournament happening at the same time, which England also won, a number of the Three Lions U-team players were playing in France that summer, most notably the likes of Reece James, Japhet Tanganga, and Harvey Barnes. Last, but most certainly not least, the man who guided England to glory in South Korea was Paul Simpson, who previously managed the likes of Stockport County and Preston North End. Simpson stepped down as England Under-20 boss in August 2020 to take a job as Dean Holden's assistant at Bristol City, temporarily stepping down from that job when he was diagnosed with kidney cancer in July 2021, before departing for good the following October. Simpson underwent surgery following his diagnosis and has since been given the all clear, which, I think you'll agree, is great news and a fantastic way in which to end this video. So that is it for today's video. Thank you all very much as ever for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. I hope that was the case. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on for HITC Sevens. Also, you can find me on social media, on both Twitter and Instagram. I'm more active on Twitter though, via the username at HITC Sevens on both, should you wish to do so.